the next double-sided stretch that we're going to explore is for the neck. You might have already encountered certain clients where you provide the neck stretch, the ones that we learn in modules 1, 2 and 3, and they don't really get much of a stretch. And we've always said at that point, just sort of leave it because they don't really need it. And that's still true. And sometimes people will still want to experience a really sound neck stretch. And when that is the case, you can add in this double-sided neck stretch. So you'd migrate to the full range of the stretch that we would normally do, with your hand on the ground, supporting behind the head with your forearm, and then your other hand comes in as just a little light support. Find a bit of resistance where you have that stability, and then this is the bit where you've got to go nice and slowly, nice and carefully. You want to bring your foot up towards the shoulder, ground your heel, and then make light contact with the shoulder. You got to do that really smoothly without jostling the head around because they're already in the stretch. At this point, this is where you can then start to add a little bit of weight with your foot, gradually letting your foot get heavy and starting to take the second side of that stretch away from the first. What you'll end up starting to feel is the head pushes back into your hand more, or into your forearm rather more. And that's going to be one of the points of reading where you start to feel the level of resistance and when it becomes really close to that physiological end point. We're still just gradually adding a little bit of weight, taking up space. And I would say around about here's where I'm going to pause. Doing okay with that, Fiendy?
Can't really say anything though.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I've closed off your speaking space. And then what I'll do is I'm going to gradually reverse out. So I'm going to release the foot slowly. I'm going to lift it away from the shoulder and then slide my leg out before I bring the head back nice and slowly. Now one side's going to feel longer than the other.
Yeah, that was nice.
So we'll have to do that on the second side.
I reckon I could have had more though.
You could have had more? Great.
I think so.
All right.
Well, yeah, I know so.
You know so. So we set up again like a regular stretch for the neck. Grounded hand, leveraging the chin up in towards the armpit. Make any little adjustments that you need to find that amount of resistance that starts the stretch. And then really slowly bring your foot into play. Light contact with the shoulder. On your end as well, as the practitioner, this also requires a certain amount of mobility at your hips. So if it's not quite there yet, that might be something to work on in your movement practices. Your heel is grounded, and then you just gradually let the foot get heavy to start with. And then over time, we're just adding a little bit more weight, bit by bit. As we get to a certain amount of weight, the head is going to start to push back into our forearm. Do you want a little more than that?
I think that's about it.
That's about it.
don't know, go a little bit more, see.
Oh, my bolster just slipped a little bit. We want to try and avoid that, because that'll be a sudden addition of movement to the mix. After holding that for a moment, gradually release that pressure of the foot first, and you go reversing out.
It goes,
Yeah. Release the other part of the stretch. And you would again integrate that anywhere in your network where it feels like is the right moment. Doesn't have to be after the massage. I typically put it after the massage, but it doesn't have to be. Give that a whirl, and if you have any questions or thoughts, let me know.